All right, today we're going to continue our study of Social Studies Chapter 5 with Lesson 4. And Lesson 4 is on Indian empires. We have one big idea today. The Mauryas and the Guptas built great empires in India. Two main ideas. The Mauryan Empire unified most of India, and Gupta rulers promoted Hinduism in their empire. So let's begin with Mauryan Rule. We have a guy called Chandragupta Maurya. Chandragupta seized control of northern India, and he created a society that was dominated by war. Well, he eventually became a Jainist monk, and he gave up his throne. Because the Jainist monk, of course, is not going to be all about war. And you remember Ashoka, the one that spread Buddhism, because he converted from Hinduism to Buddhism? Well, he is the grandson of Chandragupta that became the Jainist monk. So Ashoka then extended the Mauryan rule over most of India. And again, he converted to Buddhism. He stopped waging war because war and Buddhism don't go together. And he instead chose to rebuild cities and spread the Buddhist teachings. So remember, he sent the missionaries out. Okay, he did something before this conversion that no one had done before. There are elephants in India. So when they fought, they rode elephants. Now, when we get to Rome, actually Greece, you're going to find out that Alexander the Great made it to India, but his troops stopped on him. They refused to fight. However, they had never seen an elephant before. I mean, could you imagine an elephant? Just one, let alone hundreds, charging toward you. I don't know about y'all, but I wouldn't stick around to find out what's going on. I'd be getting out of there. So this next video that you're going to come back and watch is about the elephant warriors. It's a pretty interesting video. So the Mauryan Empire was from 320 to 185 BC, or the new terminology, BCE. So we've not made it to the year 0 yet. So all of this that you see in green was the Mauryan Empire. Chandragupta and Ashoka, his grandson. Well, the Mauryan Empire, just like you're going to see in everything, it began to decline. And at this point, most of India had converted from Hinduism to Buddhism. So they stayed that way for about 500 years. Well, now we have another guy that's going to come in. His name, and get this, it's so confusing, is Chandragupta the First, not Chandragupta. Chandragupta, divided, the first. Under his rule, India became unified once again, and they became prosperous again. Well, the Gupta rulers spread Hinduism in their empire. They built temples, and they promoted the Hindu writings and the rituals, the Vedic text. So you still got this tug of war going on between Buddhism and Hinduism. However, they were tolerant of each other. So widespread religious tolerance was encouraged for Buddhist and Jainist. So it's kind of like you believe what you want to believe and I'll believe what I want to believe, and that's okay. We'll just all get along. So that's the Gupta Empire, and you can see what it would have looked like, and this was around the year 400. All right, it's about to get even more confusing. So remember, we had Chandragupta, Ashoka's granddaddy. Then we had Chandragupta I. Now we have Chandragupta II. So under Chandragupta II, the Gupta Empire reached its height in power. It spread across northern India and it prospered. They were doing great. The economy was booming. That means amazing. It was like going very, very well. This allowed the citizens the time and the money to create great works of art and literature. So their economy and their culture are booming at this point under Chandragupta II. Remember the good old caste system? Well, it's back full power now. It was believed under the Gupta rule that keeping citizens under strict caste rule would help to stabilize the empire. In other words, it would help unify them. So there were some social ramifications. The caste system really grew at this point. Women in the caste system were not seen as equals, and they had few basic rights. So, sorry, ladies. That's just the way it was. You're going to come back and you're going to watch the next video, which is going to tell you a little more about the Gupta Empire. So let's kind of break this down again. Just quick review here. As far as what times we're talking about and who's who. So 320 BC, and by the way, this is like BCE, the new one. Chandragupta Maurya, he became the first Mauryan emperor. Then 19 years later, remember we're counting down to the year 0, in 301, he relinquished his throne to become a Jainist monk. No more war for him. And then in 270 BCE, Ashoka, his grandson, became the second Mauryan emperor. Remember, he's the one that converted from Hinduism to Buddhism. Okay? Because 261, Ashoka's empire, it had grown, but then he left to become a Buddhist monk, actually. And then in 375, or AD 375, which is CE, Common Era. So this is 375 years after the year 0. Chandragupta I invaded and conquered northern India. He brings Hinduism, prosperity, and basically a strict caste system back into popular culture through Chandragupta I and then Chandragupta II. So you've got another video that you're going to watch on Ashoka, which is on the following slide. And then once you come back and you watch this video, that is now the end of lesson 5.4. Next time, we're going to talk about Indian achievements in lesson 5.